Alright, 2 more videos. This one's gonna cover my last 2 weeks up until this point of being solo, and then the next one I'll do tips and tricks and fun facts and answer questions if you have any questions. From the other videos I forgot. One thing, my mentor is freaking cool. He's a hipster, whether he thinks he is or not. And you know, coming with that territory, he has like a wide variety of taste in good music, so we had that to bond over. And he recently got into Alan Watts, so he's into Taoism. So we had that to talk about too. So if anybody I could have gotten stuck in the truck with, this was a godsend. And you know, from the Tao Te Ching, from Lao Tzu, nature never hurries, yet everything gets done. That's one of my my life mottos, I guess, or more like a summary, like explains my life. But Pam, great managers. I heard some companies, like they say, like, you know, Prime pays more. I also heard that like their managers, especially like nights and weekends, like if you have a problem on the night or weekend, like good luck. That's just what I heard from like other YouTube testimonies. But like this company, I can say from experience for myself and from what I've seen with other people who work here, they take care of their employees and they take care of their trucks. If their truck has a problem, they fix it right away. They'll put you in a hotel. If your employee has a problem, they get back to you right away. Most of the time. I'm not supposed to call my managers, they're not supposed to call me. We're supposed to text each other. For extenuating circumstances, like complicated situations, like, yeah, we can make phone calls. Makes sense to do that when you need to handle a situation. But I love it because then it's just me. It's just me in the truck working. It's like, you know, they say that, you know, the truckers are like the land sailors. Which, if you think about it, yeah, it's like the docks. We load up at the docks, the shipping docks. Just take our rig across the asphalt seas. Driving a truck. I mean, it's not too much different from driving a school bus. And who drives school buses? You tell me. Although the backing is complicated, and you're always driving on the highway, which is like higher speeds. I've just been having nightmares up until now. It's been a rough learning curve. It's like Murphy's Law. Everything has gone wrong every day. From the day my mentor... Oh, and I want to give a shout out to my mentor for Pam, Caleb. Great mentor. I still call him today to talk about stuff and just to when we're both driving night shift, just to chat, but also for like advice, and he helps me out. Helps a lot. And then my dad's old roommate, my mom's old boyfriend, Mike, has been helping me out a lot too. He spent hours and hours just giving me info on the phone, like letting me know about the industry, so that helped me out too. But even despite that, my mentor drops me off. They called, they said my truck is ready. So we drove across the state to drop me off, and then like unloaded all my stuff out of my mentor's truck into my truck so that he could get ready to leave for his next load. Go to start my truck, it doesn't start. It's got a transmission problem. So I tell the managers that, and they say, oh well, man, it's Saturday. We're not going to be even have anybody able to look at that until Monday. So we'll just put you in a hotel. They put me in a hotel for 2 days. That was great. I got $40 a day as layover pay. You know, they paid for my Denny's and my Little Caesars. That was great. But it was like, and I needed the break too. So you know that, I guess that technically wasn't. I'd say that was something that went right, not wrong. But it was still something that went wrong. And then Monday, he said call us on Monday. To figure out if we're gonna what the status is gonna be for how long your truck's gonna take. So I call Monday morning, and a different woman answers. Oh, my manager, and she says, "Oh, your truck's already done. It's ready to go. You can come grab an Uber back to the yard. You're good to go." So I'm like, ah. You know, I was relaxing, watching TV. I thought maybe I'll have another day or two while they work on the truck. But hey, let's get that money. Let's get rolling. Let's do this, right? I want to set up my truck. You know, set up my little man truck cave. So I get the Uber out there. I get there. I walk up to my truck. I'm like, my shades are still up. The door's still locked. I open it up, my boots are in the same exact place, right in front of the driver's seat. Nobody touched this truck, did they? I turn it on, it doesn't start. Why did I leave the hotel and come all the way back out here? Anyway, they worked on it that day. I just had to sit around in the waiting room until it was done. And then they got me a load back to my home county so that I could stop home to get the rest of my belongings and get my truck set up and stuff. You know, get some rejuvenation, some home time to recover. That was a rough 3 days of home time. That was almost harder than my trucking job. Before I got back, I scheduled a dinner and a breakfast to hang out with my grandma and my sister at breakfast, and then hang out with my mom and dad and other friends at dinner on different days. But I wanted to go to Walmart because I had to buy supplies. My grandma said I could park in front of her house, my semi. I mean, just not the trailer part, just the tractor part, just smaller, it fits. And I get home to park it, which is fine, and then I go to start up my car so I can actually drive around. My car won't start. I gotta find a mechanic who can take it right away and have it done before I leave. They didn't have it done before I left. And then I had to negotiate with my grandmom to find out when she was or wasn't using her car so I could use her car to run my other errands. I had to load up my truck. That was a big thing. I just grabbed all my stuff. I had to bring it up out of the basement up into the garage, then up out of the garage into the truck, to the truck, then haul it up into the truck, then set everything out on my mattress, my foam pads and stuff. Trying to get my bedding, my big pads and stuff, and all my blankets and pillows organized in the small space. I had bags of stuff. Different bags of stuff. It's I had to go through it all, find out, take inventory of what I had, what goes where, figure out what fits in what shelves, my food pantry. You know, it's basically moving. I've moved into a studio apartment. This is not, which is cramped. Studio apartments are cramped, so it's kind of tricky to move into them and figure out what you're keeping, what you're not, where it goes. This is smaller than that. I moved into my truck. I live in my truck now. So I had to move into my truck. I did an entire move. And then my grandma says, oh wait, I actually don't want your truck parked in front of my house. Can we move it? So I gotta move it to Quakertown. But it's because the hours are funny, because if I'm driving my truck, that puts me on duty even though I'm home. And you got to make sure you have your 34-hour reset, because you get 70 hours in a 8-day period that you're allowed to be on duty. And when you get take a 34-hour break off duty, that resets your hours, so you can get a fresh clock of 70 hours on duty to use up over the next week. So like I had to like time it to like figure out like when do I have to move my truck, how many hours, like when's that going to start my 34 and when's it going to finish, am I going to be on time to like get back on duty when they call me on duty. Anyway, and then like trying to like make dinner and breakfast. By the time my home time was over, my stuff wasn't still not organized in my truck, and then I had to go back to work with my stuff just thrown around everywhere willy-nilly. Like I wasn't even like set up. And when I got the first day that they called me back on duty, it was just horrible. I was supposed to, I asked for a dispatch at 4 a.m. I woke up at 4 a.m. and like the one guy was like, "Are you ready to go at 9?" I was like, 9? I just adjusted my sleeping schedule. I was like, whatever. I was up late last night trying to organize my truck. Yeah, I'll get the extra sleep. I'm ready for 9. I wake up at 9, go to the place I'm supposed to go to. I get there at 11, and then I see all their texts at 10:30 saying, "Your load was supposed to be delivered at 9. Driver, you need to pick up this load. What are you doing?" I was like, delivered at 9? I woke up at 9. That's what you meant? Anyway, we're at 12 minutes now. It's literally been every day for 2 weeks. I haven't had a break. Something's gone wrong. It's been horrible. I'd be here, I sit here talk for an hour. I've given you enough details. But a lot of the problems are at the shipper and the receiver's offices, because it's like every place is different. No matter where you go to pick up or drop off, every place is different. They all have their own rules. You have to learn their rules. You have to like navigate their yard. You have to deal with like people that in this, like everybody's got like control issues. They're angry from working, or they're angry at their boss. They've got a story to tell. They've got a bone to pick. Not everybody. I'd say less than half. I'd say the majority of people are actually like chill and like good, but there's a lot of people, it's like there's always something you gotta deal with. You gotta like roll those charisma checks to make sure that, you know, your day doesn't get even more ruined by just somebody who's having a bad day. Which I got into this industry because I don't want to deal with people. And this is like a challenge. But granted, I only have to talk to a customer like once a day, once every other day, maybe twice in a day. So it's a lot better than like food delivery that I was doing before, where you have to go in, pick up the food at the Taco Bell, talk to those guys, go drop it off at the customer, talk to them. You're doing what, like 30 deliveries per day, 20? So you're seeing like 40 people. I see 1 or 2. So I should just do what you do at a job, you know. That's what I'm working on. Put a smile on. Take what you got to take. Move on with your day, but it's still so hard. That's it. The paychecks are good. The paychecks are coming through. I still got to figure it out. I have like PTSD with bosses not paying me right, like screwing around with my money, not giving it to me or giving me the wrong amount. So I'm like trying to like follow like what I'm earning and what I'm getting paid, and it's like so complicated because they pay by mile, not by hour, and it's not even actual miles driven based on your odometer, which I have that info. It's based on like area codes, which I don't have that info. So, and like I know the stuff that they are supposed to pay me, like adding onto my check, they're like labeling it weird and like mixing numbers around and merging them and giving them different titles. So I can't track it at all. all I can tell you is that the paychecks are good, and I have made this much money in my life working for myself, landscaping, but not consistently. It's just like I have my good weeks where I make a bunch of money, and it's especially because it's a seasonal job too. So it like depends on the season and the week. But this is consistent, so this is the most money I've ever made. I guess you gotta play the game, which I also don't like. I just want to do my work. I just want to drive my truck, mind my own business, listen to my music, talk to my friends, collect my paychecks. But it's like a game. Like I'm sitting here right now waiting for a load. I'm not getting paid. I'm doing this video to kill time. And I got here a day and a half ago. I got here at 6 a.m. in Indianapolis, Indiana, and my load was due 26 and a half hours later, the next morning at 8:30 a.m. So if I was obedient, or if I was just a quiet guy minding my own business, doing what I'm told, I would have sat here in this yard for 24 hours, 25 hours, doing nothing, and then delivered this load down the street. I would have collected my $40 for one day of layover, but I didn't do that. I called and I said, hey, I'm gonna be sitting here for 27 hours. Can I terminate this load and drop it at the yard and get another load so I can drive right now? And they said, yeah. I ended up driving north to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and back twice. That's like 460 miles that I got instead of sitting around doing nothing, because I said something and like kind of am getting a feel for like how the industry works and like what can or should be done. Like I'm assuming my managers like that I did that. Like I don't know how they get paid, if it's hourly or if they get a commission based off of the miles I drive. So they're incentivized to make sure I get more miles. I'm guessing that's how it works. So they're probably happy, I'm happy, but it's like I had to like take the initiative and like, no, I'm still learning. There's like a lot of stuff, like a lot of nuances about how to play the game. Like he called me up yesterday to do an extra load that was like an emergency and asked if I could take time out of my day to get it done, like to stop what I was doing, like drop the load I was on to take care of this one because it had a deadline. And I think for stuff like that, because the guy who was originally doing it, his truck broke down, I think they're supposed to give you bonus pay for that, like emergency pay. But they kind of did, they kind of didn't. Like if you do a short load that's less than 100 miles, you get some bonus pay if you ask for it. So you like have to know what's going on and what you're doing and what the rules are, because then if you don't ask for it, they won't give it to you. Anyway, I'm not gonna go on anymore about that. All of them just trying to say this video is way too long. There's just a game to play. I don't know what else to say. It's been over 3 weeks. I'm getting to the point where I can just relax on the freeway now. When it's not crowded, I can kind of like keep an eye on my mirrors, talk on the phone, listen to music. I love that part. Night driving, I'm driving night shift. It's like a drug, kinda. It's like every time I go to a shipper or receiver and I get stressed out from like the new situation and the people and the difficult things that you have to do there and the hoops you have to jump through, and it's like I'm ready to quit every time. And then I get out on the road at night on the empty road and cruising, put my music on. 5 minutes later, I'm like, yeah, you know what? This is the life. This is the life. And I heard it doesn't get easier, but you get used to it being hard. So I guess it doesn't bother you as much because you expect it. I see this going well.